Hey everybody, it's Alex here at Swash Drawings. So today we're going to be making an illustration of a couple characters from an upcoming project. The names could change, but we'll call him Micah and his dog Patton for now. So the first thing we're going to do here is just block in the shape of the dog using a 4H pencil to do a quick sketch. We're going to work from the closest to the camera, so to speak, to farthest away, so we're changing over from the 4H pencils to get some slightly darker lines in with a 2H pencil. The dog is in motion here, basically mid-sprint, so we're trying to depict him coming down on his front legs and pulling the back legs forward with his butt kind of in the air. I'm taking a quick measurement here. Micah is going to be riding the dog like a mount, so we need to do two things. First, I want the dog's body to move back in space properly, so I'm adjusting it a bit, kind of think of it like a barrel that moves back in space at the right angle. We also need to block out Micah's body. That's what the measurement's for. I want to make sure he's not so big that it seems like he's going to crush the dog. So using the 4H pencils again, we're going to draw just the basic shapes of the body for Micah, adding enough detail to the torso and arms so that we know they're sitting in space the way we want them to. Now, one thing we're trying to capture is the feeling that he's in motion as well, not just the dog, so we're trying to make him seem a little weightless, like he's getting bopped around and it's difficult to hang on. So now we're going to start sketching in a little more detail for the Micah character. This character wears a shawl, so we definitely want to make sure we capture the detail of it wrapping around his body and flowing in the wind. We're also going to start detailing the face a little more as well. While we're looking at the head, you can see I'm struggling a little bit here. This character has a bandana on, and that obstructs the forehead and hair, so I'm trying to place the eyes a little too low, I think. Too low and too big for the style I want. If we want to make sure, the general rule of thumb is to have the eyes sit halfway between the top and bottom of the skull, so once I line them up a little better, things start falling into place. What we're doing now is basically getting ready to start using the ink pens, so we want to kind of finalize our pencil drawing. We'll be giving the shawl better flow, blocking in Micah's legs and some detail to understand where they are in relation to Patton's head, figuring out the position of the arm that's in the air, and giving a little more definition to the back of Patton's body so we understand where the hind legs and tail sit in relation to Micah's body. Just giving ourselves basically all the information we need before we start making marks that we can't take back. Okay, so now we're going to start using the ink pens. We have three sizes, 0.5mm, 0.35mm, and 0.2mm. The general rule is that you want to use thicker lines when you're close to the camera and thinner lines when you're farther away. The line thickness helps convey moving back in space. With that in mind, I'm going to continue to use the strategy of moving from front to back, inking Patton's face with the 0.5mm pen, and then going under the body of the dog where our friend Micah isn't obstructing the view, and switching to a 0.35mm pen after we finish the front legs. After I finish up Patton's body here, I'm going to start inking Micah's body, again using the slightly thinner 0.35mm lines to visually set it back behind Patton's head. We're going to start with his arms since it's in the front and move backwards into space from there. As you can see, inking typically goes a little faster. Since we did all of the decision making while we were working on the pencil drawing, we can just trust that we did an alright job there and focus on adding the lines with a steady hand. With everything else out of the way now, I'm going to go ahead and draw Micah's face, which I save for last because I'm the most nervous about it. We're going to switch to the 0.2mm pen because we want thinner lines here, particularly in the eyes and mouth. I'm actually pretty happy with the face. The nose is a little Pixar-y, a bit round, but we're not upset. I can always adjust it later digitally. All that's left is to erase the pencil lines out and enjoy the final product, and I gotta say, I'm pretty satisfied with this. Okay, so here we have the image scanned onto my computer now. Just using the PhotoScan app by Google on my phone, it works pretty well. Now that we're working with a digital copy, let's make a few more updates. The only really significant change was redrawing Patton's tuft of hair on his head. I wanted to really capture that it hangs over his eyes but is also being pushed back by the wind in this image. I also changed the hand that Micah is holding on with. I redrew it to get a better looking grip and changed the rope to be a little more like a leash that's being pulled tight. Let's look at an overlay of the two images now. Most of the rest of the changes are just cleaning up the lines. This process is basically just me watching TV and making the lines look crisp on a tablet. I thought the front legs were pretty successful already. I just adjusted the hind legs to have scruffy hair similar to what we did in the front. I also made some small adjustments to the folds of Micah's shawl and his low Griffin style nose. We also moved a couple of things. You can see Patton's ear and tail as well as Micah's arm. They're the same but moved to a better position in terms of how they connect to their bodies. These things I literally selected and dragged over in the editor on my tablet. And that's that. We're looking at the final version here, and I think this is pretty good. It's ready to be put on some t-shirts or something. I want to give a quick shout out. The song you're hearing is Tea by Cold Ice. I also want to remind everybody to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, follow the page and all that, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.